Hi, welcome back to One Mommy Scrapping. I'm Scrapping Amy and I'm planning for happy memories. Today I am going to use the Keepsake Bookmaker Base Creator die set to create a pocket page with a brochure fold out. So if you're not a member of the channel, I would love if you would subscribe and hit that like button, and let's get started. Alright, so primarily I have this as my one add-on today. I am going to want to cut one tab. Now, this does not have to be used to do today's. You could always do it kind of like a hole punch and put ribbon through it or something. I just like the little tabs. But everything else I'm doing aside for that one piece is all going to come from this die set. I am going to use the 3 largest pages, which are the ones that have the open side on it, as well as the 3 largest layering pieces. So let me show you what I have done. First, I have the largest 3-sided. It goes like this, where I've cut the base. I've also written some of my notes so I knew what I was doing on it. Then I used the next size down to cut the base for the pocket. This is the large layering piece, so it will go on there. The pocket will go right here. And then this is the middle size layering, or the second largest layering piece, just to add a little bit of decoration, and I'll be trimming that down. And then I have 4 of these, which is the middle size of the layering piece. And I am using this one with the opening on it to create what I call a brochure. I have no clue what you would actually call it. It's just how I was trying to come up with a name. Foldy thing is probably not the most accurate term. So I have created this. To do this, that open side, I cut it first on the edge and then flipped it over and ran it through, lined up the edges and ran it through my machine again. That gave me this, which I will then be able to fold in half, and that will act as the brochure within the pocket. Now, an option with this is that you can make different sizes. It's something a little different to do instead of a tag. And I find it quite easy. So when I lined it up, let's see if there we go. Lined it up, I'm gonna just score it now at the 4.5 inch mark. And then crease it, and that gives me my little booklet, maybe? I don't know, it feels like I need another page of a booklet. I don't know what you would really call it. So I am using these, here it is, put it in the wrong spot. I'm essentially treating this as 2 stories. I'm going to do one story on the outside, and then the other story will go on the inside. So the prompt I am doing for this are food. It's food related. Oh, we made cookies, and then a few days later, my husband, daughter, and mother-in-law all made a gingerbread house together. So I am using those as 2 stories. It should probably be listed as like 1 story, but I don't care. Now, I had saved the packaging to the gingerbread, which seems like an odd thing to save. It's right here. But I was at IKEA with my friend Fran, and we saw these gingerbread houses, and I'm like, no way. It was like $4. And I'm used to getting like the Wilton ones where if they're on sale, they're 10 or 12 bucks. And I ended up not buying one that day. And then the next day the next time I was in IKEA, because it's about 35-40 minutes from my house, I decided, you know what, I'm going to get it. All it has is the gingerbread parts. It doesn't have any of the candy or anything in there. Y'all, this turned out to be the most delicious gingerbread house. Oh, I didn't put score tape on that one. This turned out to be the most delicious gingerbread house I have ever had. It really did. And that really surprised me. Plus, classic IKEA directions. Obviously, I trimmed it down. But their little IKEA guy is wearing a little Santa hat. And I'm just like, that's brilliant. Like, whoever at IKEA went, you know what? let's have him give directions on how to assemble the house, and let's dress him festively for it. I'm like, that person better be getting a bonus or something, because that was a brilliant idea. I mean, look, I'm keeping packaging and putting it into my album. That's how much of a brilliant idea he had. Look, that piece is the right size exactly. How about that? I tried to go through and re-ink, or not re-ink, but to ink all my edges and to put the adhesive on the back of all of these before I got started, so we didn't have to sit through that. So, originally this was going to go in place of one of these plaid pieces. And I ended up deciding to do something I did a few days ago with the Journal Your Christmas album, and I've got one of those hidden pockets. So I have a couple things that are going to go onto the hidden pockets. You know what I just thought I could do? I could add in a little magnet. Oh, not those magnets. These are magnetic matte magnets, which I can't close up now. Found my good Tonic Studios magnets. I was very excited about that. I'm not going to try that though, the little sticky things, because I don't know. I don't think it worked well for me. I'm just going to use some of my fancy schmancy red line tape. Some on that. Get some on that. Stick that right there, because I will probably come up with a use for that at some point. Alright, so if you haven't, that's great, it sticks there. If you haven't seen how I do the little thin disc magnets, I will attempt to get the plastic off. It'll probably stick to my finger. There it is. To put that down, I am going to let that one stick to it. And then I'm just going to close the booklet, the brochure, and it doesn't stick. Of course not. Now it's not going to work for me. Oh, I see how that is. Let's try this. Just once. There we go. It really did not want to stick to that sticky stuff. Once I have this over, I won't have to worry about it. But that will just leave the brochure pages a little easier to stay close. And I'm like, I'm taking that one off. I already have this one ready already. One thing you have to be aware of when you do the magnet stuff is to make sure it's in far enough from the edge. Now this was one combination I wasn't sure about with the pocket and the lights with the plaid. I think it will work because, I mean, the lights have in the red and the green and the white. So technically it has all the colors, but I had those moments of doubt when I'm like, it's not going to work, is it? There you go. And now that sticks very nicely. So let's get to making the actual pocket. So this stuff I will just leave on there. It's going to get covered up. I had designs like that written on, or just notes written on the slider pocket pages, and I ended up having to erase them because they were, since I cut out part of the base, the layering part, then you would see them. But normally when I write directions, I don't worry about erasing them. Plus, this also tells me which direction I need to use to make sure the page is in the book correctly, because I've already done that once, where I've made it like this so it will be like a right page, and what I really needed was a left page. I know y'all are just absolutely shocked that I screwed that up, aren't you? I can tell. Anybody that knows me is like, well, that sounds about right. There we go. Okay. First things first is going to be to attach the decorative portion on the outside, and then I will trim it down. I always cut the black bases larger, so that way I know I've got the right amount of space. So, trim this down. Works. And let me go ahead and put on, I've got two things to do for decoration. One of them is going to be this lace, which is the same thing that I did on page 1. And then instead of the gold glitter, I have a piece of the red glitter cut. All right. Whoop! Apparently I'm going to throw my ink dauber away. Don't want that to happen. There we are. And I need this stuff. Let me first make sure that I've cut that the right size. And I have. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm only going across the very top of the decorative layer. So that way we have plenty of space for the red. Alrighty. I get asked sometimes, why do I always press it down? Like, do I have to do that? No, I'm just paranoid that it's going to come up. That is the only reason I do it. Now, this technically has a sticky piece to it. It's got paper backing and everything. And same thing as why I press it down. I'm just a little paranoid that it's going to come off. And sometimes I've had ridiculous troubles trying to get it to stick or to take the paper backing off. But this is the same thing. Like you saw, that was no problem taking the paper backing off. And there are times when it's just like, it does not want to come off. It is stuck. So, I'm running out of glue. All right, we're going to have to switch to a different glue bottle. I think I'm going to have to get a new glue bottle. Got them in the cabinet. Adhesive is one thing. Adhesive and page protectors. Those are like the two things where I'm like, I never want to run out of. So I'm like ridiculous. I always have a stash. Stash of adhesive and a stash of page protectors. And like, let me tell you, the page protector thing, oh my gosh. Like right now, I could probably scrapbook for the rest of my life and never have to buy another page protector. You know what we are going to use these for? Oop. Let's see if I can potentially use them for this. There we go, except up here. There we are. They want to stick to everything. Come on. There we go. Nope. Caught it on the edge. There we are. That will help keep the glitter on while the glue dries. So those over there. Let's work on setting up the brochure. Goes like this. Yes, because I want it to be a left page. Woo! Alrighty. I have a bunch of photos. Like I said, I had planned for this to be a slightly different layout. As you can see, I even trimmed this down to be the right size. But I'm mixing it up. So I have these pictures for the gingerbread, and then these for cookies. And we're going to do the cookies, I think, on the outside. And I have cut out a black glitter and a red glitter pull tab. And I think I am going to go with the red glitter one. So this is the same tag, or not tag, what do they call these? Tab. I'm like, I know it's not tag, but what is it? This is the same tab that is there. I just cut it in half because that will lend some strength to it. Yeah, that looks about right. Sent puppy downstairs to see Daddy, who just got home. Alrighty. This just reinforces it. So I only put it on the bottom half when I stuck it down to the pattern paper. Now that I'm going to be folding it, I'm going to put it on the whole folded side. There we go. Hold that for a moment. There we are. So now this is ready to be pulled out. All right, since we are now on the decorating portion of it, I decided to speed it up because let me tell you, I didn't want to watch this for half an hour and see me hem and haw over where I'm putting photos. I ended up cutting out part of it because I did not put that score tape on the back of anything for this photo section. So inside I'm doing the cookies. The one I have on the top left, I have turned into a pocket, which you just see me slip a tag in there. I'm going to add in some of the sheer red ribbon that I have. I have enough to do it for this ribbon, this tag, and then the one that will go for the gingerbread house. There was the little cut to save you from 45 seconds of just tape. Like really? Why did I do that? Okay, so I'm using the scrapbook.com sticker book. I believe they call this one something like Classic Christmas. They have another Christmas one that involves like some pretty pinks and greens, which I quite like, but obviously did not go with this collection. I'm putting the title on there as Cookie Time, and since there is an exclamation point within the alphabet, I go ahead and add that in too, because I know we're all excited about cookies. I had lost my letter C, and I was like, I knew I have it somewhere. Yeah, it went under the ribbons. I was like, oh, that's no good. So including that, making sure everything's spaced correctly. It's about here that I realize that I have laid these photos out and I have zero idea how I had laid them out, thinking that I could get all 4 of these photos on there neatly. There was no way this was going to work. My fabulous Tetris skills from, you know, the 80s and 90s did not come back and assist me on this. I also noticed that if I put the tag with the ribbon at the top left like I did on the front, it would end up interfering with the little pull tabs. So I turn the top right photo into a pocket, but again, can't have it at the top because then you won't be able to really see the difference between the 2 ribbons. So I ended up doing it at the side. I'm not a huge fan of it because where this page ends up, that side is right next to the spine. It's in the gutter of the page. But you know what? At this point, I am just like, I don't care. It works. I have ran into so many issues. For as simple of a page as this is, it was just like, every time I turned around, it was something little. And it was all my own doing. Like, not realizing the pictures would fit. I'm like, why did I not plan this? I'm adding in the epoxy flare from Scrap and Happy Studio. I think I bought 4 or 5 different Christmas themed ones. I got the countdown numbers. I got the cookies. I got baking. I got Starbucks. I got snowflakes. I had them all over. So trying to make sure everything is going to fit nicely in here. I'm adding in one of the little tags that I had tried to use for the 18th and 19th, that page. I saved them because I'm like, if I sat here and fussy cut these stupid things out, I am not going to throw them away. So those do get, at least one of them gets used here. All right, so I cut the green ribbon a little too short, unfortunately, so I end up having to do 2 ribbons that don't match. That's okay, adding in just a couple more embellishments, and then we're going to put the pages back together again. This page is almost done. So these are done. This is done. The last step is to actually insert the pages into the album. So I have my prior page that I have not done anything with yet. Oh, don't put that face down. Oh my goodness, that would have stuck to my photos. I would have been a seriously unhappy camper. Alrighty. Put that in. Now, this one I have along the bottom and then I have along the sides. I do not have any on the edge that is opposite of the gutter. And you will see why. And if some of you have probably gone, oh, I know what she's doing. And you're right. It's time for another secret pocket. Alrighty. I'm going to need to not glue down that ribbon. This is where we're trying to match everything up perfectly. There we go. So now Starbucks gets hidden. Gingerbread house gets hidden. Ooh, and I'm making a lot of noise. And now I have 18, 19, 20, and 21 all in my book. So I have left 22 and 23, which will go right here. 24 and 25, which will go there. And then I'm doing a simple pocket with tag on the back cover. So if you enjoyed this little how-to, then I would love if you would leave me a comment and tell me what you liked, what you thought of this. And if you're not a member of my channel, I'd love if you would subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified whenever I upload a new video or go live, which is usually Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Hope you guys all have a lovely day. Bye!